Count on Nate Foy, weekdays on NBC2.
He talked about health care, which during that town hall last night, Savannah Guthrie pushed him on his health care plan. The president did not provide many specifics. He says he wants to replace Obamacare with something cheaper. Kelly, Peter, the key to survival is practice and preparation. You never want to find yourself in a situation with an open flame like this and smoke starting to fill the room.
The wind is as strong as we've seen it all day. We're seeing gusts of about 40 miles an hour. I want to direct your attention to the east right here. About 100 miles from where I'm standing right now, that is Hurricane Dorian.
Just leave it in your glove compartment. You pull it out, it looks like this, and you're going to put it right up against the corner of the window. Since yesterday afternoon, essentially being put up in a nearby hotel. They're not allowed to take in any sort of media. They are allowed to ask Judge Peter Cahill any questions about the law or about any evidence that was put forward in this 3-week trial as we take another live look outside the Hennepin County Courthouse.
A lot of people are bracing for the impact here, and it's kind of like the anticipation of destruction we're hoping is worse than the destruction itself. My friend Jennifer over here is with her family. They live in Palm Bay. Jennifer, what made you decide to brave the storm here at home? We know all about this storm. People in Southwest Florida, including myself, got all of our hurricane supplies. We were all ready for it to hit us, and then the danger zone shifted to the East Coast. Now people here are hoping to experience that same level of relief that we have in the last few days.
Bonus, I'm going deep again. I want it all.
That's how it's done, guys.
The priority still has to be to get that window down because you can't help your kids if you don't have an open window.
Here in downtown Melbourne, it's not normal. This right here, a restaurant with hurricane shutters up. We've seen very few people out on the streets. In fact, we only saw 2. They left just about 5 minutes ago. And what were they doing? They were putting up plywood to protect their store. A lot of smoke is coming in. That's not a good sign. Then you are going to start crawling on your hands and knees in the hallway. So if you were pregnant right now and the vaccine were available to you, would you take it?
At 6 o'clock, more Publix vaccine appointments are open right now. They just became available while we were in commercial break. Thanks for counting on NBC2. I'm Nate Foy. We're starting at the statewide level. You can see over 31,000 deaths for COVID-related reasons. Per capita, this is 27th in the country, which, considering Florida has the second oldest population, things certainly could be worse.
If an alligator does attack, you may have heard about trying to run away in zigzags, but experts say they're not going to chase after you.
We got that bucket. That's where I'll climb into. Now it's time to jump in. Go home.
Lots of energy in the city. I want you to take a quick look at this countdown. We have 1 day, 19 hours, 3 minutes, and 22 seconds until Super Bowl 54. Everybody, it's time to get excited.
It is absolutely freezing out here. The NBC weather app tells me that it feels like it's negative 24. I swore I wouldn't wear these earmuffs on air, but I have absolutely no choice.
This is a fundraiser to not only keep this garden thriving and to preserve these exotic and rare plants, but there's also a special initiative this year that's going to help a lot of Collier County families.
You guys stayed open for me. Thank you so much. I've been keeping my eye on that chocolate right there.
Well, Lisa, Mike, you can expect a lot of people and a lot of traffic. It took my photographer and I about an hour and a half to drive 4 miles here to the Miami Beach Convention Center for what they call the Super Bowl experience. We're going to interrupt your programming for some breaking news right now as Collier County leaders decide whether or not they're going to issue a stay-at-home order. Right now, Governor DeSantis is addressing our state. Yeah, 2 more things. FHP will be patrolling Florida roads to make sure that people aren't coming into our state with coronavirus. And the National Guard is now at RSW helping check people who are getting off planes. We'll have more on that coming up in the show. But as we expand our scope to the entire country, we're going to begin with some breaking news right now at 3.
I think I might score a goal, but don't tell him that.
Oh!
And what do you think? You think I'm going to be able to break it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Can you break it?
Maybe.
All right, now we got a challenge. This was during the first wave of cases. Of those people, only 72 tested positive again during the second wave. That means reinfection happened in fewer than 1% of COVID-19 cases. NBC2 spoke to a woman who lost her husband to COVID-19, but she's not giving up hope, still fighting to get a vaccine herself. NBC2's Anissa Bohannon has her story. 3:19 in the NBC2 Alert Center right now. We're monitoring live feeds from across the country, and there are 3 in particular from the state of Georgia with national implications. If we can pull up a triple box, guys, let's pull up iNet 5, iNet 3, in iNet 4. You see this right here. On the bottom right part of your screen is a press conference from the Georgia Secretary of State regarding the phone call where President Trump pressured him to overturn the election results in Georgia. And we just learned that that office is not seeking its own independent investigation into the president. In the top right, you're looking at Kelly Loeffler campaigning for the Senate runoff election in Georgia. She's a Republican. And then on the left side of your screen is the Democratic campaign event where we are expecting President-elect Biden to speak at 4 o'clock. So we're monitoring all of these. Of course, this is very important for control of the Senate. If the Democrats win both runoff elections in Georgia, they will split control of the Senate, and the tie-breaking vote would go to Vice President-elect Kamala Harris.
Is there anything possible that you could foresee as we get the clinical trial data on pregnant women in 8 months? Is there any factor that could change your opinion?
Lee County leaders making the message loud and clear right there. You heard Commissioner Brian Hammond say, quote, "The spring break party is over." If we can pull up a live look from Fort Myers Beach right now, you can see that a lot of people are really squeezing out the last 2.5 hours here on the beaches before they close. Yeah, schools physically closed, of course, clubs, bars as well. There's no cash tolls in Lee County anymore. You know, we've kind of all seen the world stop here in the last few days because of this pandemic, and this is just the next step showing you how big of a deal this is and how important it is that you do what you can and control the things that we can't control, because there's a lot that we can't right now. We are seeing stay-at-home orders in other parts of Florida. For example, Orange County, one begins at 11 p.m. tonight. Governor Ron DeSantis has said one is not coming across the state. At least right now, it's obviously on the table. He has said the reason not to do that is because it's different right now. The numbers, of course, on the East Coast are a lot worse than they are here, and you don't want to hurt workers in places that are less affected unnecessarily. The president behind schedule. He does have a very busy day ahead. Again, a campaign rally in Ocala and then another one in Macon, Georgia. And this comes as early voting set to begin on Monday. So the president really trying to grab your attention and really secure the red vote here in Lee County. President Trump making his way on the stage at the Calusa Sound Convention Center in downtown Fort Myers. Let's listen in. The crowd greeting him, chanting 4 more years, and the president telling seniors, quote, "I will protect you, I will fight for you, and I will defend you." This was supposed to be a White House event, not a campaign rally, but the president definitely taking some sharp aim at Democrats. He promised 100 million doses of a vaccine under Operation Warp Speed to seniors at no cost. He said they have a partnership with CVS and Walgreens where the vaccine, if it is made before the end of the year, which he has promised, he said that it will be delivered to seniors at no cost, Kelly. You gave your championship trophy to every member on your team to take home for a full week so they could do whatever they wanted with it. Explain what was behind that decision for you. Good weather or not, breaking at 3, Lee County leaders want to limit your interaction with people standing along the roadway like this. Sammy Sosa, who is, a really, really legendary player, in batting practice, hits a home run. It's going right at me. I'm 15 years old, goes through my hands. I don't have a glove. Hits me off the chest, goes to like a 50-year-old guy in front of me. He grabs the ball and he rubs it in my face, and I didn't get the ball. You guys know that scene in Dumb and Dumber when Lloyd takes the wrong turn and he's driving and he says, "I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a little rockier." That's how I feel about this rainy season, right? Would have thought that we'd see some rain by now. It was never me. You could barely slide a piece of paper under me when I jumped. No help.
Well, I never played basketball, so I'm no help.
I'm the tallest non-collegiate athlete anyone's ever met. Yeah, Peter Kelly, a lot of families are really struggling with this because so far we don't have hard data on pregnant women. What we do have is knowledge about how the vaccine works, how likely it is to affect you and your unborn child, and what doctors recommend.
COVID and pregnancy can make things a bit more complicated.
Women who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or hoping to have children all face the same dilemma. Should they take their chances against a deadly virus or trust a rapidly developed vaccine?
I just recently delivered this last week, so everything is new to me. So I'm learning and lots of questions still in my head.
So if you were pregnant right now and the vaccine were available to you, would you take it?
As of right now, if I was pregnant, no, I would not take it.
I wouldn't feel safe.
What would it take to make you feel safe?
Probably more time.
But time may not provide answers. Since 2000, 75% of FDA-approved drugs have zero data on pregnant women.
Women and pregnant women in general are not included in clinical trials.
Dr. Denise Cardinal treats hospitalized pregnant women while being pregnant herself.
First and foremost, I'm a mother.
Dr. Cardinal is also fully vaccinated.
Explain to me the thought process for you getting the vaccine.
What I did was speak to maternal fetal medicine colleagues, specialists, and get their input.
The Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines do not contain a live virus. Instead, messenger RNA triggers an immune response, which generates antibodies.
Little tiny length of messenger RNA goes into these cells, goes into the nucleus, it gets read and evaluated, and then it just deteriorates. It doesn't even go beyond the cells. It breaks down. So there's no way for this to even get close to the baby.
A possible 24-hour side effect of the vaccine is fever, which can be dangerous for pregnant mothers, especially in the first trimester.
Someone that's probably able to stay home, able to isolate, they can say, you know what, I'm going to wait until after pregnancy.
Is there anything possible that you could foresee as we get the clinical trial data on pregnant women in 8 months? Is there any factor that could change your opinion?
Yeah, sure. That maybe there will be some data. I would like to see a little more data so then I can tell my patients, hey, look, I've seen 3 studies. These are the numbers. So there could be information that might modify it. But right now, that's not present. That data is not there.
As for fertility concerns,
that is something that has been disproven.
Dr. Sweet telling me there is no way the vaccine will affect fertility. He also says breastfeeding is safe.
An infected woman can still breastfeed, and they don't get the infection. What's mom giving the baby? Antibodies to COVID.
Dr. Cardinal leaving mothers with this message.
It's a very difficult decision, but ultimately women need to speak to their obstetrician and make an informed decision, and they need to be supported either way, if they decide against it or if they decide for it.
A good way to close it out. If you're pregnant and decide not to get the vaccine, you should be carefully monitored after your delivery. If you're asymptomatic and COVID positive, both doctors that I spoke with theorize that you could quickly become at risk due to blood loss and nutrient deficiency. If you do decide to take the vaccine, the CDC recommends enrolling in V-Safe. It's a digital tool that provides guidance for pregnant women who are vaccinated. We have a link to that in this story on our NBC2 News app.
Peter, Kelly, it's important to remember that rip currents can happen wherever there are breaking waves. They don't need to be big. In fact, they can be as small as the ones that we're seeing right here. So I jumped in the water for 2 reasons. First, to show you how Lee County deputies respond in situations like this. And second, to teach you the surviving skills that you need if, God forbid, you're ever caught in a rip current.
They're on their way. Marine 1 Sierra en route. Also notify aviation police.
Man, is that a beautiful noise.
Through the scope of a Lee County Sheriff's Office helicopter, you can see the intense operation to save a swimmer stuck in a rip current off the Lee County coastline. Only this time, that swimmer is me.
Got that bucket. That's where I'll climb into.
And the rescue operation is planned.
Now it's time to jump in. Go home.
In Florida, the danger is highest for rip currents.
Our beaches here are beautiful. They're safe, but the water requires a certain amount of attention to keep yourself safe.
This story actually hits pretty close to home for me. I got caught in a rip current when I was about 8 or 9 years old on Martha's Vineyard. It was about 200 yards offshore. My dad had to come save me. Everything ended fine, but I was scared of the beach for about 5 years, so today is my second experience with rip currents.
A rip current is a strong and narrow pocket of water moving directly offshore, like a river flowing out to sea. Water rushes at speeds up to 5 miles an hour, faster than most Olympic swimmers.
I'm certainly not Michael Phelps, just a broadcaster jumping in water.
Once you're in the water and you're getting taken out by the current, we're going to get close enough to you to throw you a life ring. And then we're going to throw you a heaving line, a rescue heaving line. Okay. And you're going to grab that life ring, grab that rescue heaving line, and we're going to pull you back towards the boat. and then we're going to pull you through the dive door on the side.
Okay. And the signal if I start struggling is waving my arms, right?
The international sign for a swimmer in distress is waving your arms over your head. That is correct.
All that's left is finding a rip current.
Just so you guys know, I'm doing a story for NBC2 on rip currents. So I'll be like right here, don't mind me. Try not to catch me, yeah. I got Tim and Chris with the Lee County Sheriff's Office back in those boats. So I'm very safe, got this life jacket. If you look to my left right here, you see a jetty. Jetties and sandbars are two things to look out for that can play factors in rip currents happening. So if you're ever caught in a rip current, first thing you got to do is remain calm. If you're not, you're going to waste your energy by panicking. You need that energy to swim. Second, wave your hands in the air. I don't want to do that right now because then I'm going to scare our guys here, but that's the sign to let people know that you're in distress and you need help. Third and most importantly, you got to stay afloat. Whether that's on your back or treading water, whatever you got to do, keep your head above water. Try to stay calm, breathe. Then, when you feel that you can maybe get out of the rip current, you swim parallel to shore. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Coming up. I'm anticipating him getting pushed out.
Then, once you're done swimming out of it, you don't want to go back where you came from. You want to swim diagonally back to shore.
Eyes up. Got him.
And if you're lucky,
life ring,
help will arrive just in time.
Now it's time to take a ride.
6 feet.
Woo! Boys, thank you very much. I was certainly safe as Lee County deputies were watching me in the air, in the water, and right here on the shoreline. So if there's one takeaway that you need to remember from this story, do not try to fight the current. It's just too strong. You want to swim parallel to the shoreline and then eventually diagonally back to shore. So that's my experience. Peter Kelly, I learned that both of you have actually been caught in rip currents yourselves.
Yeah, in between the two islands, Sanibel and Captiva, and I did the wrong thing. I struggled and tried to get back, and luckily someone was there on a jetty to pull me into the rocks and save me, but it would have been different if nobody was there.
I was a swimmer my whole life. I swam in college, and I thought I could handle it, caught in a rip current off the coast of California. And after a few minutes, I realized I was not going to be able to do this. So I did what you showed in your story, waved my hands, and a lifeguard had to come get me.
Did you want to panic, Nate?
It's scary stuff.
Say that again, Kelly?
Did you feel like you wanted to panic?
Well, that's the big thing. Because of my experience, I knew not to panic, but that's the other big takeaway here. Think about it like you're in a swimming pool. If you panic, you release all your air and you sink right to the bottom. So you want to keep that air, use your energy to swim, and eventually get out of the rip current. Reporting live in Lee County, Nate Foy, NBC2.